this video, I'll be comparing two mass communication theories, the propaganda model developed by Edward Herman and Noam Chomsky, and cultural hegemony developed by Antonio Gramsci. The propaganda model is about structure of media, who owns it, who funds it, and how that affects what we see. Cultural hegemony is what happens after those same structures, how they shape our beliefs and our wants over time. One explains how the machine works, the other explains what that machine does to our mind after. And this is what it looks like in practice.
And false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Think about this for a second. In 1983, 50 different companies owned a majority of what Americans watched, read, and listened to. By 2011, that number was 6. Comcast, Disney, News Corp, Warner Brothers, Paramount, and Sony, all controlling almost everything. Each merger looked like a normal business decision, but what it produced collectively was a handful of the most powerful corporations in the world deciding what information reaches hundreds of millions of people. Media scholars Edward Herman and Noam Chomsky looked at this and said, "This is a propaganda system. Not propaganda the way we usually think about it, something more structural." Their argument was that you don't need to give anyone orders. The system produces propaganda on its own through the normal logic of how media businesses operate. They called it the propaganda model. They broke it down into 5 filters, 5 ways the system shapes what reaches you before a single journalist writes a word. The first is ownership. The companies that own media are massive corporations whose fundamental interest is profit and stability. That interest shapes the entire culture of the institution. What stories feel important, what angles feel safe, what questions never really get asked. Nobody has to say anything. It's just the water everyone's swimming in. The second filter is advertising. News organizations don't make most of their money from you watching or reading. They make it from advertisers, which means that the real product isn't the news, it's you, being delivered to corporations who want to sell you things. And advertisers want a specific audience. So media that serves that audience gets funded, media that doesn't struggles. The third filter is sourcing. Reporters have deadlines and limited resources, so they go wherever information is already being prepared for them. The White House, the Pentagon, corporate press offices. The Pentagon alone spends hundreds of millions of dollars a year on public relations. So the source with resources to feed journalists become the source that dominate the news. Everyone else gets covered less, not because anyone decides to ignore them, but because they're just harder to reach on a deadline. The fourth filter is flack. Powerful institutions push back hard when media produces something they don't like, with legal threats, pulling advertising, and coordinated complaints. Over time, outlets develop a sense of what's going to cause problems and adjust accordingly. The fifth filter is anti-communism. The idea that any perspective that challenges capitalism is simply dismissed as communist sympathizing. So when you put all 5 together, ownership, advertising, sourcing, and flack, what you have is a system where the most powerful voices get amplified and the least powerful get filtered out. And nobody had to plan any of it. And here's what I think is the most important point Herman and Chomsky made. The journalists inside the system aren't lying. Most of them genuinely believe they're doing objective work. And within what the filter allows, a lot of them are. The constraints are so built into a culture and incentives of the institution that you don't even experience them as constraints. You just experience them as how journalism works. You can't feel the walls of a room you spent your whole career inside.
We like crime, I mean, not all crime. Carjacking in Compton, for example. That isn't news now, is it? We find our viewers are more interested in urban crime, creeping into the suburbs. What that means is a victim, or victims, preferably well off and white, injured at the hands of the poor or a minority.
The propaganda model explains the structure, but there's something it doesn't fully account for, because even people who know the media is compromised are still operating within the same basic assumptions about what success looks like and what it's worth wanting. This goes deeper than the news. Antonio Gramsci called it cultural hegemony. He was a political theorist writing from a prison cell in the 1930s, and his question was essentially, why don't people revolt? Why don't they go along with the systems that don't benefit them? His answer was that dominant classes don't just control the economy. They control what feels normal. And they do it through institutions like schools, universities, media, and advertising. Gramsci called the people who do this work organic intellectuals, not just academics, anyone who produces ideas on behalf of the dominant culture. And the reason it works is that most of them genuinely believe what they're saying, which is exactly why it lands. What makes hegemony different from regular propaganda is that it doesn't just tell you what to think, it shapes what you want, the standards you measure yourself against, what you feel proud of, what you feel ashamed of. And because those desires feel completely personal, completely yours, you don't experience them as something a system installed in you. You just experience them as who you are. That's what makes it so effective. It's not a message you received. It's the lens from glasses you've been looking through so long you forgot it was there. And once the lens is in place, you don't need anyone enforcing it. People police themselves. Alternatives start to feel realistic. The boundaries of what's possible feel like a natural boundaries of reality rather than the boundaries that were constructed and serve specific interests. The most powerful thing hegemony does is make itself invisible. And today, both of these systems are running simultaneously every time you open your phone. Social media is an advertising business. The algorithm's job is to keep you engaged, and what keeps people engaged is confirmation, outrage, and identity. That's the propaganda model's advertising filter at the individual level, all day in your pocket. At the same time, the aspirational culture of Instagram and TikTok naturalizes certain lifestyles and certain definitions of success, and makes anyone who doesn't fit feel like the problem is with them, not with the standard. With them. Two theories from decades ago, still completely intact.
Dad, let's get out of here. The bright spot is, at least we know if we have this problem, everybody has this problem.
Gentlemen, before you leave, can I just say something?
I don't know, Don. Can you?
The Federal Trade Commission and Reader's Digest have done you a favor. They've let you know that any ad that brings up the concept of cigarettes and health together, well, it's just going to make people think of cancer.
Yes, and we're grateful to them.
But what Lee Jr. said is right. If you can't make those health claims, neither can your competitors.
So, we got a lot of people not saying anything that sells cigarettes.
Not exactly. This is the greatest advertising opportunity since the invention of cereal. We have 6 identical companies making 6 identical products. We can say anything we want. How do you make your cigarettes?
I don't know.
Shame on you. We breed insect-repellent tobacco seeds, plant them in the North Carolina sunshine, grow it, cut it, cure it, toast it.
Well, there you go. There you go.
But everybody else's tobacco's toasted.
No, everybody else's tobacco is poisonous. Lucky Strikes is toasted.
Well, gentlemen, I don't think I have to tell you what you just witnessed here.
I think you do.
Advertising is based on one thing: happiness. And you know what happiness is? Happiness is the smell of a new car. It's freedom from fear. It's a billboard on the side of the road that screams with reassurance that whatever you're doing, it's okay. You are okay.
is toasted. I get it.
When you put both theories together, cultural hegemony and the propaganda model, you get a bigger picture of how mass communication actually operates. One explains how information is shaped and filtered before it reaches us, and the other explains how that information shapes who we are over time. Neither requires a conspiracy, neither requires anybody to lie. The system doesn't need villains. It just needs us to keep participating in it.